It's been 3 long years and we've still managed to keep it going. Today, we talk about the history of the channel as well as some future plans for the channel. It's Commanding Magic's 3-year anniversary video. Hello everybody. Welcome back to Commanding Magic. It's Season 2, Episode 19, which actually, I feel really bad that it's not Episode 20. I feel like Episode 19 is a weird episode to end a season on, which, spoiler alert, okay. It's the last episode of Season 2.
Yep.
It's Travis and Brandon here, and it's a special episode for more than just because it is the finale of Season 2. We are ending Season 2 with a retrospective of the channel.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing the show for 3 years.
Not a constant 3 years.
Yeah, at the time of this recording, this channel has been in existence, and we have been posting videos relatively frequently with a small break at one point for 3 years.
Yeah. Yes, a small break for 3 years.
You know what I mean. And it's funny because Brandon and I were going back through our old videos from Season 1 that are not available to be viewed by the public at this time.
Right.
We were just having a good laugh because it's funny because I'm looking through scrolling back through the whole history of everything,
Yep.
right now, and we actually had gameplay up on the channel before we had episode 1 of the show.
Yeah. Colin posted one of our first gameplays that we recorded just on the side, like before we ever did the channel.
Tiny Leaders, episode 1. Part 1. Shuyan. Episode 1, Part 1. Why is it? Oh, because it was so damn long, probably.
No, it was, well, that and Twitch was being stupid with cutting up videos.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, yeah,
I had to make it part 2s and
we're gonna get down to all of this. This is gonna be an episode of just us thinking back about like the start of the channel and how far we've come and how we used to do things in the past versus how we do it now. And then perhaps a little bit of a look into the future because there are some pretty big changes coming to this channel. But you'll have to wait until the end of the episode or later on in the episode if you want to know what those things are. So, with that being said, 3 years, Brandon, how do you feel about
Honestly,
everything?
I can't believe it's been 3 years.
I know. When you told me that, it was just maybe a month ago, you said, hey, remember, it's coming up this year, 3 years. I was like, hang on, wait a minute. And the reason that it was hard for me to piece together is because we didn't do a 2-year episode.
Right.
So I was thinking back to the one we did when I still lived in Kentucky.
Yeah, when we all dressed up and we're all nice and fancy, and Colin and I were living in the same apartment.
It's funny because even thinking about that, it went from you guys living separately to living together to living separately again to Colin ultimately leaving the show, which is a real casualty, I think.
Yeah.
But life happens, is what I'll say.
It does happen.
But so we started off this show. First of all, I think the biggest thing that you can tell if you were to ever see our old videos, and I'll post some clips up here as we go through the episode, is that we used to use Skype to record.
Yep.
And I remember every Sunday I would wake up and I'd say, okay, time to get ready for the show. Text Brandon, text Colin, make sure everyone's awake. You know, they text me and make sure I'm awake or whatever. We're like, cool.
I'd be getting home and I'd be just getting home from work.
Oh, because you used to work nights back then.
Yep.
Oh shoot, that feels like forever ago now.
Yes, it does. And it's barely been like 8 months.
And I'd get my coffee. I would boot up my computer. And then I would start getting everything set up. This was back in the day when actually, because right now, this is some behind the scenes stuff for you guys. I actually handle all of the recording and editing and stuff like that.
Right.
Back in the day, Brandon
did it.
used to do it, but there's a whole lot more to it than that. So sit tight. So I would get on, and it was simple for me. It was way easier for me back then than it is now. So I feel Brandon's pain.
Yeah.
As Brandon was setting up XSplit, which is what we used to use to record all this stuff.
I still like XSplit.
Yeah. I mean, now we use OBS, spoiler alert, for the sheer fact that it's free and I finally know my way around it. So
But with XSplit, it was kind of easier to figure out.
Yeah.
Just
I
the
remember
delay.
when I first started trying to use OBS, it was very confusing. I had no
Yeah.
idea how to do anything. XSplit was a lot more intuitive, or is a lot more intuitive. I don't know, but I know how to do this now, so whatever.
Hmm.
So while Brandon's getting all that stuff set up, we're all three of us are booting up Skype.
Hmm.
And to anyone who uses Skype, I'm sure that you are totally familiar with this phenomenon that happens where you click on Skype and it opens and it says Skype needs to update. And so the majority of our recordings, of our recording sessions, essentially depended on whether or not Skype needed to update or not, because I'd say about maybe 30% of the time that we wanted to record. Now that's a big number. 30, like
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, 30% in the course of the amount of content that we have, that's a big number.
Oh yes.
Skype would update and then proceed to not work.
Hmm. And 9 times out of 10, it would be Colin or Travis.
Yep. For
Because
some, Brandon had
I always left mine open because since I ran everything, I ran it off of my PC at the time and a laptop. Because I didn't have I was too poor to afford 2 screens, and I had this laptop open. I had a big enough desk, so I had everything set up.
I remember that. I remember when you got that desk.
That's a nice desk.
Yeah.
Until it fell apart in the last move.
When you tried to move, yeah. So,
But
yeah, after Skype updated, for some reason, we would just have problems getting in a call with each other. And let's put these statistics together here. 30% of the time, 9 times out of 10, what is someone that's a stats major calculate out what that means?
please.
So commanding magic, the actual lost episodes being days that we just couldn't do anything because Skype wouldn't let us.
Exactly.
And yeah, that I'm sure that Discord was a thing back then.
I'm not sure if it was actually.
Really?
It's a actually very recent thing within the last 2 years or so. Not when we started. So I never remember hearing anything about it because I played MMOs back then, and it's a very big MMO thing.
Yeah, I used to use Ventrilo back then to play MMOs.
Right, and everybody uses Discord now.
Yeah, I mean, this is just me talking totally off on a tangent here. I think the idea and the reason why a lot of people use Discord is because it's a lot lighter than.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess now they're developing a lot more capabilities for Discord than Vent.
Plus,
but
it's
anyway,
brought to you by Curse.
Brought to you by. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That makes me
understand
it a little bit more.
Popular, where you go to get mods for MMOs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense.
It fits in perfectly with what people are using it for.
Yeah. So, we would get on, and back then, we always said from the beginning, the idea. I want to say that it was like my kind of idea to say we should do face cams because back then, the reason I say that is because back then I was really into this podcast called The Morning Stream with Scott Johnson and Brian Ibbett. Like shout outs to them even today because that's an excellent podcast. But they always had face cams, so I kind of was trying to emulate that a little bit.
Right.
So that's what we went with. And I had the bottom of the line Logitech webcam,
Yeah.
And I think I remember the one that you had it, or I don't know if you still have it or not. It was that little square guy, the little square one. I don't remember what brand it was.
Oh yeah,
that was what you used.
Yep, that's what. Well, here's the thing, because this was back when I had to give you guys my own screen. Remember? So I had to use 2 cameras. You remember that?
Right, because Skype would have Colin and my video feed, but you would have to do in XSplit. You'd have to do a webcam capture of your feed.
Myself.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had to use 2 cameras back then.
What a shit show.
Yeah.
And so I think Colin probably had the same one.
I think eventually we all bought the same camera.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the Logitech C920.
920. Yeah.
Yep. And from as far as I know, that's kind of the webcam that a lot of, and when I say amateur, I'm probably totally undermining some amazing YouTubers that use that same webcam. But it was, we decided we're all going to kind of pull together, and for the sake of having similar quality,
Right.
we're going to get the same hardware.
And at the time, like $100 to drop on a webcam was no joke.
Yeah, that was no joke. And speaking of audio, I remember Brandon you had some sort of headset. I don't even remember if it had a brand.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And then I had a like $25 Logitech headset. And back in the day, when I went back, I watched the footage again. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound bad. Boy, was I wrong.
Right. And then you bought a Yeti, and then I eventually bought a Yeti.
Yep, and Colin bought his mic at a thrift store, I think. I think he just randomly found that at a thrift store. I could be totally wrong about that. And
I think it was at a pawn shop.
Something like that. But it's funny because the one that Colin bought, I think that it had maybe a little bit less capabilities. Like you couldn't like adjust the gain like crazy, or you couldn't change the direction that the mic would pick up. But I'm pretty sure that he had a cardioid mic. Is that what these are called? I'm pretty sure that that's what he has as well. But in the end, we achieved a relatively baseline video and audio quality for the three of us.
Yeah, and we were all happy with it. So we were,
back then I was happy to be doing anything back then.
Right?
It's really funny.
I think this is the part where we have to say that not only were we using Skype to record everything, but we were streaming everything live.
Every now and then I forget about that, and I was setting up the video for today, and I look at our layout, and I'm like, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. What the hell is the other one? But yeah, our show used to be a like legit live. It was almost like the idea when we started off was it was going to be live radio.
Right.
Tune in if you like. Tune in next week.
And then we just take it straight from Twitch and we put it onto YouTube, which that caused more problems, which I'll talk about later.
Like part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Having to, just because of the way that Twitch does things. And didn't we get like
banned?
A warning or a ban off of YouTube for a minute?
Yeah, we got banned from YouTube once,
because we
had to get that settled.
What was that?
I don't remember. It was some stupid thing. I think it was
like we uploaded too many videos at once or something.
Let me see if I still have the email. But
I remember you texted me or messaged me.
It's like,
and you said, we got banned. Like, hang on. What can we've been a channel for less than a year. What could we possibly have done so terribly wrong that we can just get outright banned with no warnings?
Right. Oh yeah, I do still have it. Account appeal. Hi. Okay, no, that's the beginning of it. Let's see.
Hi.
Yeah. That's yours. Define where this actually starts. Spoiler alert, I use Yahoo.
Yeah,
so I still have the email from Anna saying this is like 2000 whatever.
Oh, geez. I don't even remember that.
We have re-reviewed your circumstances of your suspension. That's
what circumstances?
I have concluded it is appropriate to reinstate your account. This means your account is once again active and operational. If you have forgotten your password, please visit this link.
Oh my! If you forgot your password, did you instantly forget your password when we suspended your account? If so.
So here's what I said. So this was my appeal. So I am unsure as to why my account was banned. In this email I received, I was linked to a rule about spam. If it was spam, I only had 2 videos I actually posted. The only other thing I could think of was that caused some issue with have not citing copyright information. If that was the case, I apologize. I will make an effort to cite copyrights and all that. Other than that, I would like to know the reason why my account was suspended and if there is any way to get it unsuspended.
And in
Thank you for your time.
and in true corporate fashion, they gave us no information and resolved the issue, and that was it.
Yep.
It's
And
funny
then
that
I
you
think
mentioned the thing about
you,
copyright because
yeah,
I pulled up the very first episode of the show earlier, and
yeah.
I think it was in the description, it was like Magic the Gathering is owned by Wizards of the Coast, whatever.
And I think you hopped on here and tried to get some more information, but we never got anything.
Of course not.
Because I remember you trying to send something out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so that happened.
And you have to remember when was that? When did that happen?
I just closed it. Hold
Okay.
on. That was 1/28/2015. So this was like literally maybe a week after we actually opened the channel.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
When I said less than a year earlier, that was hyperbole. I meant a few weeks after we started the channel.
Yeah.
Good lord. It's funny to go back through this list of videos here and to
Right.
see
I've been sitting here at the bottom for a minute.
to see how we used to do gameplay, because in a similar fashion to how you had to provide your webcam feed for XSplit to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that for gameplay too. At least for, I'm pretty sure it was for all of it for a while. But
Until we
for
figured out
example,
how to like do stuff and got a background and got our layout and everything, it was like that for a bit.
yeah. So if you look at our first gameplay here, I mean, even just the Shuyan versus Tuk Tuk, it was the whole background, the whole video was Colin's mat with your video feed down in the corner.
Yep. That was Skype.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do about it.
Yep. And then but you can tell, I think you could tell, or maybe this was Colin or you visiting Colin or something, the episode of Tajik versus Zergo, which was what I would ideally ultimately love to become the norm for the channel, to have everyone in the same room.
Yeah, no, that was a video we had recorded way before we ever decided to do the channel.
Oh, really?
And then Colin just decided to upload it.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah. I got mad at him for uploading it because I said some not so nice things at the end of that video.
Brandon.
Brandon, spoiler alert.
The meanie.
Brandon the salty.
Ooh.
Because it's Zergo. I mean, what's there not to get salty about?
Save your salt for Overwatch.
Yeah.
And that was back this time back in the day. Just our first Deck Tech video,
right,
was February 8th, 2015. It was Colin's Tuk Tuk the Explorer Deck Tech,
which had like 5 versions going on in the future.
And after that, you can kind of see that
stuff kind of starts to get streamlined.
Yeah, you can see that we have the background of with the big Commanding Magic actual, not the really like. It was, I guess it was a logo. It was just the big logo.
Right.
They had the full name of the show, which was designed by my wife, Anna. And I love her so much. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. It's funny because
one of the videos from back then that I still have public is Travis's best attack ever.
Oh.
Where he attacked with his entire board. So
and I just turned my entire board sideways.
Literally, just about picked up his mat and just turned it sideways.
I should have done that. That would have been that. Who knows? You have your thing here where you have your deck overview. I guess.
Yep. Where I have all of my decks set out.
Yeah.
Yep. I have my Niv deck tech.
So how did streaming work out?
Streaming worked out to where there were a lot of issues. We have episodes that are outright missing from the channel because of bad quality.
Yep.
We had an episode where we didn't find out until almost when we were done. We had somebody jump in, and this is when we really appreciated having viewers to tell us what we were doing wrong, because we, at the end of one of our episodes, turned out our audio was just not working, and we had just been sitting there talking quietly the entire episode.
Yeah, and keep in mind, this was way back to when videos would go straight from Twitch to YouTube.
Right. And, we'd find that out, and just like it would demoralize us so bad.
Yeah, it was really hard to get going. I mean, for anyone listening in on this that has tried to do a podcast or like a YouTube show, eh, period, I guess, surely you know our pain. When
Right.
you think you're on the roll, you are
You think you're providing great content
you're
and you've been
firing
having
on all
an
cylinders.
episode, and then all of a sudden you find out something's been bad. Like you've not been recording in an episode the entire time. Which, speaking of which, let me go over that real quick. Not checking a box on Twitch to autosave your recordings and not record episode 1 and have to re-record it for the second time and try
Yeah.
and keep space the entire time.
So, yeah, so this is, I mean, huge behind the scenes thing. And we actually talked about this in our 1 year anniversary episode.
Yeah.
That the first episode there, Commanding Magic episode 1 is actually episode 2, and episode 2 is actually episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
But we were so stubborn that we decided that we should re-record it and
re-record the same gameplay too. I mean, obviously, it wasn't the exact same gameplay. I think the outcome was still the same.
No. Listen here, you. I want to. No, this is. The salt is real because I won the first gameplay.
Did you?
And then
I don't remember
I'm pretty
that.
sure you won it. Oh, now you don't remember it because it was our cons decks.
Right.
And
it was Sidisi versus Zergo versus Surak.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that I took that game away. And I was really stoked about it. I think I got up after the show, left my office. I was like, man, Anna, that was such a cool episode. I like destroyed with this sick deck that I built. And then when we go to redo it,
I think I played a Blasphemous Act and then basically won the game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Did you forget to check that box, or did you just want a rematch like off the books?
I definitely forgot to check that box because I woke up later that day to go to work and I had all these texts and I was like, "Hey, there's nothing on the YouTube channel, nothing uploaded," and I was like, "What? What's going on?" And I just went and looked, and sure the hell enough, nothing was there.
It's funny to go back and look to see when we first started doing gameplay, we had the logo with the black background, and then obviously we eventually got a layout provided by Colin. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, the layout was white for a period of time.
That was when I was recording.
Oh, really?
Because we switched to you hosting it.
Oh, did we?
It started becoming the black background.
Oh,
when I would host it, I couldn't get it to change from the black to white.
That's so weird. That's so weird.
So when you would host the call on Skype.
Oh, I remember that now because I just started looking at your Nekasar the Mindrazor deck, and that reminded me that you couldn't actually stream from your laptop.
Right.
But you couldn't stream and be on Skype. No. Isn't that what it was?
Here was the problem: is my PC would not run Skype back then, so I had to run Skype off of my laptop,
right?
No matter what.
And that's why, because
if I tried to run it on my PC, it would crash.
Yeah. So if you look at the image here, it's the deck tech, but the webcam feed is covering a ton of the layout because Brandon's laptop just couldn't take it, and it was a little bit older of a laptop. It may have been a gaming laptop at one point.
Was like from 2009. It was bought for me for college that I never went to.
I mean, the resolution was smaller, the capabilities were smaller, and it may possibly a little bit of it may have just come from the fact that like this was still all very new to us, so we're still trying to kind of figure it out. But
man, you remember your Vish call deck?
I remember I remember that we got comments on it asking if I had an updated list one time, which I can't remember if we ever posted on. Listen, here's the thing: we used to really keep up. We used to do deck techs, and we used to really keep up. Well, Brandon and Colin used to really keep up. And Colin used to really keep up on our what was that? Tapped out page of our deck list, but I was the number one culprit of not posting deck lists because I was just too lazy.
Here's what I had to do. Okay, I had to make Travis do a deck tech, right? And then before we would actually make it public, because we had enough deck techs back then to where we did one every Friday, I think, and we had ones for months because we had so many.
Yeah.
Because we would just upload a bunch at a time, and then I would just go and post one a week.
Yeah.
But I would go through each one of Travis's and sit there and watch the video And every time I like count his lands, count his non-basics, and see what he's got. And while I'm doing that,
Did
I've
you
got
really
tapped out
do
open
that?
on another page and be typing out his deck list. Yes, I did.
Oh boy. Well, Brandon was the real carry back then.
I did what I could for the channel. What can I say?
It's really funny seeing the layout with the chat
Oh yeah,
because it's funny
because
because
Colin made that layout, by the way.
yeah, there was a few episodes where I felt like the chat was really flowing.
Oh yeah.
We never had more than I don't know what I couldn't even begin
Shout out
to
to
tell you.
Gasney.
Yeah, shout out to Mean It Help. Mean It Help was there like almost from the beginning,
Yeah.
and he kept coming back. Yeah, and Gasney was our judge friend, I guess,
Yes.
who was the judge and would always answer rules questions for us in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of people. I gave a shout out to a bunch of the OG like Twitch subscribers. Back when we did the first episode, there was Running on Water. There was
I'm on our Twitch right now trying to see if I can find our subscribers.
oh yeah, it's hard to remember. So it's been so long since we streamed.
It has. And Twitch is so different now compared to what it was back then.
I wouldn't really know. I never even really paid attention to how it was when I used it. Yeah, but it was funny to think of it back then. We actually had people who would watch the show every week.
Right.
Even if it
and
was
if
just,
they couldn't, they would go back and watch the VODs.
yeah, even if it was just a few people in the chat. That's what made it for us back in the day because we used to interact with the chat as much as we could.
You remember Wally?
Yeah, Wally. He was one of the main people too, for sure.
Yeah, he was one of our first top 5 subscribers.
Yeah, Mean It Help. Well, dude, Mean It Help. I feel like if we would have kept doing that, the whole streaming thing, like Wally and Mean It Help would totally be mods at this point. Like have been mods because Mean It Help would even give us. He would even type in the chat like, "Don't forget to subscribe" or whatever.
Yep.
And whenever he would do that, I'm like, "Buddy, that's so nice of you to do that because I'm not gonna."
Yep. No, we weren't gonna sell out like that.
Yeah. But that was super cool to have those type of people just in the early days that I wouldn't say kept us going, but it was the people that when they interacted with us, it just kind of felt good,
Yeah, it made it feel like we were actually, reaching out to people.
Yeah.
Making, content that people wanted to watch.
I remember that we would have, when I say significantly less viewers, I think that we got maybe like, I think
the most we hit one day was like 40 people. And
we were like,
we were just watching our number go up.
Yeah, but on days that there would be Pro Tour coverage, we'd have like nobody because we used to stream on Sundays, which was day 2 of Pro Tours.
Yep.
So.
Oh man, I remember starting the stream after a Pro Tour ended, and we could talk immediately about the Pro Tour finals.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that
good old days.
I had I don't remember when this was. This was before or after, I can't remember. Our anniversary episode where it was the 4th of July one year and I like blew my hand off with some fireworks and I talked about it. Man, I'm just scrolling through thumbnails here from our streams, just seeing how the layout changed subtly over the time. Episode 12 you did by yourself.
Yep, because nobody else was able to show up. It was 10 minutes long, and I just talked about things we were going to try and do.
Yeah.
We did Magic 2015 gameplay.
Yeah, you did that. Didn't we do a whole review of that at one point?
I think we did.
Man.
Yeah, we had a whole episode that was dedicated to it.
Yeah.
And how time flies, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to go back through here. I mean, I feel like the point when things really started to pick up is when we decided to come back. We just kind of disappeared for a long time. I'm pretty sure season 1 was 56 episodes.
Yep.
And
we were planning on like ending season 1 at like 100 or something crazy like that.
Yeah. And just thinking about that now is really funny because considering that season 2 is ending on episode 19.
Right.
And it's funny, it's just because it has just become harder to record over the years.
Yeah.
Sometimes one person has stuff going on, sometimes the other person has stuff going on, and it was actually really hard back in the day to make sure that all three of us could be in for the episode.
Yeah.
But even when it's down to two people, it's still pretty difficult just because one thing could throw off the whole thing, and then it's like, well, what are you doing for the rest of the week? And then
Yeah,
trying to figure that out. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. So
Like we were going to record some gameplay the other day, but I had to go get my hair cut, and then we ended up spending most of the whole afternoon out, and we don't get to do that much often with a baby. So
yeah, man.
yeah.
Episode 15 is when I had my friend James on stream with us.
You remember opening a box of Modern Masters?
Vaguely.
Why is that, Travis? Why do you
'Cause-
barely remember opening that box?
Yeah, Brandon may have gifted me a bottle of bourbon.
I still have that, by the way.
Oh,
I
do
still
you?
have what you have left. I do.
Oh, well, what the hell? Next time I come visit, I'll have to finish that off. Yeah, that was for more than just the fact that I just got trashed while we were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting experience just because that was the first time in a long time that I had cracked a box, I think. And
then,
not only that, but the three of us shelled out for that.
Right.
And we just pulled garbage pretty much, if I remember correctly.
And then we were so mad of what we pulled, we went and bought a box of cons.
And we said, how many fetches can we pull? And we got like 2.
Yep.
Man.
Oh, those were
yeah.
the fun times.
Yeah.
Don't drink and draft, Travis.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a bad idea. What else? Just like I said, scrolling through all this stuff, just remembering all the types of things we would do, how we used to do deck techs and stuff.
When we did our episode 23, totally original, when we did our talked about origins.
Yeah, I think that even today, I try to take a little bit of pride in be able to come up with some clever names for episodes.
Right. We all tried. We all pitched in ideas
Yeah.
for episode names.
We had a story time when we took turns talking about all of the Planeswalker origin stories.
Yeah. It took way too long talking about them because, I actually cared.
I mean, it's not that I don't care. It's just that's a lot of work going through all that stuff. Hey, episode 37 is insert clever name. That's an episode that I wasn't in.
Episode 25 was Trample and Spronghack. Remember that?
Dude, we need to do that again so bad. So
it's been a while, so there's a lot more for us to go over.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know,
we did 2 episodes of it.
Is it a Twitter account?
Yeah, it's a Twitter account.
It's called Robo Rosewater. And it's an AI creating magic cards.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the cards make sense, but sometimes the AI makes up keywords. And just I would have to go and grab a clip from it just to show you what this thing could do. And I can't. It's been so long since we've done that we could do an entire year's worth of going through it for a half hour every day. Yeah.
Oh man, you remember how hyped we were for Battle for Zendikar? Yeah.
What a disappointment that was.
Let's talk about something we tried to do around that time though. Commanding as we go. You remember that?
Oh man, I totally forgot about that.
I still want to do it.
So we should. What was Commanding as we go, Brandon?
This is the part where you play a clip because we explained it in a video.
Yeah. So today, what we have for you guys today is going to be pretty interesting, something we haven't done before, but something we could possibly turn into a thing that we do more often, depending on what people kind of think of it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to play some Commander, but what we're going to do is we're going to essentially play with our hands revealed to each other. We're going to make decisions assuming that we don't know what each other has. So we're making decisions like assuming that we didn't know. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be explaining our thought process on why we're making the plays that we're making.
Video.
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, we play a game, but we take everyone, including our opponent, through our thought process, revealing what's in
Right.
our hands, revealing what we're talking about.
Feeling our like processes as if like I played a brainstorm. I would tell you what I'm putting back on top.
Yeah,
Like say I was putting something that I would be drawing back with another spell I'm casting.
and
And
sometimes it was a little bit difficult because talking about it and then trying not to play around it with the information you already
right,
have, you have to assume that you don't know these things. You
right.
have to just say, I'm playing as though I have the information that I have and not the information that my opponent has given me. It was super weird, but I really liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I did too.
That's
We
something that
had
we
like
should,
one or two full episodes of it, but we didn't get much further than
yeah,
that.
that's something we should keep on the back burner for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm trying to figure out, man, Sorcerer. Ugh.
Sorcerer. What was that?
That was a weird format. Oh, dude, all right, so just real quick, Sorcerer was that format where you could pretty much only play instants and sorceries and
Right.
artifacts, enchantments, things like that. You were limited to having 5 creatures in your deck, and you had a sorcery, right, as your
Yep, it was a
commander,
sorcery.
right?
Yep.
And it was really weird to play around. It became very clear very quickly that any spell or any planeswalker that could become a creature or make creatures were the best cards in the game.
Or any single creature that made more than itself.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Let's see. I'm getting around. Wait, were we? How many episodes did we have? It wasn't 56. Was it 58 episodes? Wow. How far did we go? How far did we go?
Man, when Colin made that intro for us, remember that?
Oh, I can't wait. I'm totally going to make that a clip and post that in here. That was, and it was funny because back then, that was great.
Yeah. Because I had to go get on XSplit and figure out how to run it
Oh, by making a
on
different scene?
yep.
Yeah.
And get it to where it would reset itself. And I spent God, a good portion of a night just figuring that out and I had a good time.
Yeah. So here's something funny that I want to bring up here. So when I say that there was kind of a gap between season 1 and season 2, the last episode of season 1 was posted on May 3rd, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you click forward here, Brandon,
Right.
Commanding Magic the Lost episode started on February 20th, 2017. We were gone for so long. It doesn't seem like
Yep.
that long now that I think about it.
Damn, that is a long time.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we shouldn't call this the 3-year anniversary. Holy crap. But it's funny if you go back and look at the quality of the episode 58 gameplay that we did,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back and look at the lost episodes, our Eldritch Moon review, it is so different
Yep.
because we weren't streaming anymore. That was after I in between that time I made that intro.
Yep. Which is a very nice intro.
Yeah. Again, I mean, I found some sort of like stock free to use intro that I edited around a little bit to incorporate the logo, and it's what we still use today.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was so much more crisp and like thought out.
And that
almost.
was our plan coming back, was that we didn't want to just come back.
Yeah.
We wanted to come back with better quality.
Yeah.
So, and I think we did it. I think we achieved it pretty well.
Yeah. Going through Commanding Magic the Lost episodes, just starting to lay out the show better, having Mythic up, having the giant card up in the corner instead of just using our little tiny viewer, having the set banner, having the set symbol, having
we lost chat in the process.
Yep.
But I think that was okay.
I think at the end of the day, that was what we kind of needed to do in order to really bump up the quality. Because, I mean, having problems with Skype was one thing, but having actual streaming problems, like having the stream
Yeah.
drop frames and having all that, it was a nightmare. And it was pretty
Mm-hmm.
much if one of our internet connections like pooped out, it was a wash.
Yep.
But now that we record things offline, all that can be saved in post,
Yep.
which has been done. So, uh,
So I want to point out here,
sure.
and I wanted to point it out for a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Command and Magic Season 2, Episode 4, Commander Cube has been one of our most popular videos.
Man, Commander Cube.
Yep.
That was so fun.
It was.
And it's really unfortunate, I mean, because before it was a 3-hour drive away, which seems like a lot to a lot of people, I'm sure. But for me, it was no big deal to just blast. It was just, I blasted up 65 and I was there and I'd stay for the weekend and we would go out to eat and cube. It was more than just cubing, it was like hanging out a whole day.
Hanging out and having a good old time.
Yep. I recommend
chill for a little bit, wait for people to show up, and
yep,
maybe play some games between then. And
yeah, that's when Tim started coming in and playing Cube with us, and that was a lot of fun because Tim was one of the first friends that I made when I moved to Lafayette. So shout outs to him. If you haven't seen our Commander Cube video, Season 2, Episode 4, I recommend you check it out if you're into Cube at all, and just the idea of what it means to Cube and how we go about it that may be a little bit different than other people. But then after that, it was just we kept the episodes going with spoilers. There was the HasCon report. There was more spoilers. There was banning videos. I mean, and we're getting up to almost present day here with the introduction of the Hedron Archive, which came out on December 24th, 2017. I feel like that came out way more recent than that.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Well, that was a month ago, actually.
Yeah. And then we had our whole swath of Rivals of Ixalan spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a good time.
Yeah. I'm so glad we decided to come back. It's been fun since we came back. It's been a little bit different.
Yeah, and
since we're not streaming anymore, but
yeah, and moving forward into 2018, it's going to be even more different just because we're really
branching out.
We're really starting to figure things out.
Because we got more just content coming than just sitting here talking, which is what we used to do. We would just sit here I think we shot for an hour, and we would just sit here and talk about things going on that week, and we would spend a good 15-20 minutes maybe just talking about, between the three of us, what was going on, and then talk about what was going on in the scene of Magic. But now we're just we might record a podcast episode one week, but we might record something else that week instead.
Yeah, and we're gonna make a whole separate video for this, but this is kind of where we're getting into the uncharted territory here, and some new exciting news for us at least. Like I said, there's gonna be a whole separate video on this, but Commanding Magic is essentially going to turn into the show about news and about spoilers and current events and things like that. And then we are having our series called the Hedron Archive, where we conduct interviews with Magic players and delve kind of into the history of that person as a player. And that was a really fun experience. We actually have a backlogged episode already that's waiting to go up.
You still need to do your episode.
Yeah. And we have people lined up who have expressed interest in being interviewed. And then this is world first. This is the announcement here, which will be in the channel update video. But we are actually going to be starting a brand new series because we have had this whole show be everything is Commanding Magic. But now that we're branching off a little bit, we are going to be having a gameplay series for the people who don't really care about the news, who don't care about that type of thing. If you just want to watch Commander gameplay, you can tune into CM Showdown, which is going to be the Commanding Magic gameplay show. So
just gameplay.
Yeah. So when
there might be a little bit of banter about what's going on in between gameplay, but we will intend on keeping it fluid.
Yeah.
Talking, keeping you entertained during the gameplay.
Yeah. So keep a lookout for episode 1 of CM Showdown. I'm really looking forward to that. So,
Oh,
and then
by the way,
sure,
just to cut in here real quick, I have to edit your title for the 18 multicolor artifact
because
question mark
I
land.
know I saw that. I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah. So that's what's going on with us. This has been 3 years of streaming and recording, and this is like the shit shows that have ensued.
Can I also say we didn't talk about this beforehand, but we of course used to do gameplay, right?
Mhm.
But during our shows, we would be that hour of talking about random bullshit,
Yeah, it was a
and then
2 hour
we would
show.
move on to an hour's worth of gameplay.
Yep.
So we would shoot for 2 hours. And odds sometimes it would be shorter. A lot of the times it would be more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now if we have time to do gameplay, we'll do some gameplay. If there's something interesting going on, we'll talk about that.
And it's funny because I have decks that I've been building that I just haven't played, so I'm really looking
Right.
forward to doing a lot of that stuff. And then of course,
that's another thing we want to bring back is deck techs.
yep. So that might be, I mean, that may be its own series. We're trying to really figure it out. And I think that this might be a really good way to do it, just so we have, so when you see that the video pops up of the topic that you're interested in,
Right.
it's just an insta click, you know. It's like you don't have to worry about going into the show and listening to all the beforehand stuff that might come before the gameplay or before the deck tech or things like that.
But now if you see something and you like it, click on it, watch it. Great. If you don't, it's okay. We ain't gonna be mad. You don't watch some of our content.
Yeah, it's fine.
Not all the content's for everybody.
But I think that's pretty much wrapping it up there. This is, like I said before, it's been 3 years. It's been crazy. We pretty much didn't do anything for almost a year, so who knows?
Yeah.
Call it what you will.
We've been here the whole time. Don't call it a comeback.
Sure. I think you said that during the last episode 1, I think. But yeah, so
I probably did.
yeah, stay tuned in the year 2018 for all of the year 2018 the Commanding Magic Network.
Yes.
Tune in for all the shows that I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah,
Spoiler alert, Arena sometime soon.
oh yeah, that's gonna be a thing too. We're gonna be posting Arena stuff. So
which is not Commander related, but Arena's super fun.
Yeah, Arena is super fun. So look forward to that too. Like I said, there's a lot more to come. We're planning on everything is just we're trying to ramp up the quality again in a different
right.
in less of a sense of a like hardware
recording
type
and
of thing,
how we do it,
but just a how we do it.
Exactly.
And how it's presented to you, the listener, the viewer, what have you. So
our loyal subscribers.
Yeah. All 151 of you or whatever.
Which, hey, we had a big jump up during Rivals spoilers.
Yeah, cool.
Which we appreciate.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's including the few random people who still subscribe to us on Twitch. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Go back.
But yeah.
Yeah. So closing out Commanding Magic Season 2. It's going to be Travis and Brandon returning to the Command Zone.